There we go. We got him coming in now. Let me pull this volume up a little bit. Yo, what's good, King? How you doing, man?
King, what's happening?
All is good, bro. How this quarantine been?
Man, it's been blessing. You know what I'm saying? It's been full of blessings. I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying the season of stillness. I'm quite busy, which I'm grateful for,
Yeah. Well,
I
man,
can't
I
complain.
appreciate you, bro, for taking this time to speak to us, man. I know you got a brand new record out, so I want to talk about that.
Yes,
And
sir.
I want to start off with like a couple of questions though first, Sammie, and then I'm gonna get inside the interview. All right, so I'm gonna let the listeners, the fans kind of get to know you a tad bit better, and
Yep.
then we'll get straight into it. So, I guess my first question would be, what is your most prized possession? You would say?
Easily a Bible. I have a plethora of them.
Yeah.
I'm gifted often Bibles and my spiritual journal. I
Right.
write to God. I manifest some things, and then it's dope to just live life and watch those things come into fruition. So I would say my Bible, of course,
Yeah.
and my spiritual journal will be my most prized possession.
Right. There was a conversation that I was in, and there was a conversation about like love and fear, and it was pretty much the basis of the conversation was, if you can't be loved, then you might as well be feared. And I guess my question to you is, which one would you rather be, loved or feared? And if
Nah,
so,
love,
and
easy.
why loved and not feared?
Because well, one, I don't have that emotion. I don't have the
Yeah.
spirit of fear, so I don't
Right.
even resonate with the idea of being afraid of anything. And then I feel like the essence of human beings in our existence is to love and to be loved and to give love. Like, that's really what my purpose is. My passion is music, my passion is art as a creative, but my purpose is to love. So
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Right. And speaking about music, man, if you could take one album out of like all the albums that's been out there, I'm talking about R&B, which record would you listen to, for the rest of your life? If it was just only like that one record.
I don't know if I have one record, but the album that always takes me to a place of nostalgia and just a happy place is Stevie Wonder's Conversation Piece. That's my favorite album of all time. Happy belated birthday. He just turned 70 years young yesterday.
Yeah.
But my dad, I used to spend my summers in Tampa with my pops, and he put me on Stevie Wonder heavy as well. I was in a group when I was a kid, and we used to listen to a lot of Stevie Wonder also. So Stevie, man, anything Stevie, he's the most genius, creative we've ever seen, in this lifetime, in my opinion. So the Conversation Piece album.
I got you. And what's the best piece of advice you can say that you have received over this, time period of being inside the industry?
One of my biggest idols is Usher Raymond, right? I wanted to pursue music because, to me, he was the epitome of a child star and still taken seriously and becoming an icon, a living legend as an adult. Right. I remember going through like a terrible departure with my ex-business partner, and I didn't have a deal. I didn't have any money. I didn't have producers giving me records or songwriters writing me hits. And he asked me how I was doing one day. We was at this bowling alley. It used to be called 300 down here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he invited me to the VIP section, and I was just trying to tell him, like, yo, I'm going through a rough patch in my career. How do I get back? And he said something so simple but so profound now. He just was like, the journey is the destination. That's all he said. I just told him like a whole shit show, and all he said was, the journey is the destination. And as I've gotten older, I've fallen more in love with the journey and less focused on the destination. I heard the late Kobe Bryant even talked about falling in love with the process. We're in a social media realm where we only post our highlights. We don't show people how we got the Benz and how we got the nice cars and how we got the good credit score. We just show them the results. We need to focus more on showing them the process and the hard work and dedication and discipline it takes to get there. So I believe in that mantra now. Like, I love the journey. I love the rainy days. I dance in the rain. You know what I'm saying? I love losing things, because then in that loss, you learn a lesson, then you apply that lesson, and you don't experience that anymore. So that was the most profound thing that somebody that I idolize, from a creative standpoint, had given me.
Right. And I kind of want to get like deep into your journey too, man. I mean, because you started off at like a young age. You had a #1 record. I believe it was like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, I was 12 years young.
12 years old, man. And then now it's like we're here in 2020 and you're still relevant. You're still in the industry. You're still doing your thing. What has success been like for you? And like, has it been easy, over the time?
Definitely hasn't been easy, but anything that you love, is worth fighting for. And I love music. I've become great at it. I've sharpened, all my knives, from songwriting as a performer, as my delivery in the studio. I think that, of course, God's grace and mercy has a lot to do with it, but also I've been able to write records and create records that have become soundtracks to people's lives. I think
Right.
you know where you were when you heard "I Like It"
I
and
like
"Crazy
it.
Things I Do for
Yeah.
Love" for the first time. I think you know
And
where.
bro, man, I was listening to I Like It the other day, man.
Yeah,
That shit still hits. Like you
it's
be on the
still, yeah,
highway
it's
just riding
still.
I Like It, bro.
Thank
Word.
you. It's still a bop. 21 years later now, when I play that record at my show, like
Yeah.
grown women who used to be little girls and maybe they cut me out in the Word Up magazines and post me on their walls, they go crazy. So
Yeah.
creating music that's not trendy has been my secret weapon. Because once
Uh,
the trend over, then you're over. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Word.
I create things that's
Makes sense.
relatable and things that's everlasting. And I think that's why I've been able to cross those bridges of being a child star, teenage heartthrob, and now here I am, 33 years young and being taken seriously as an
Right.
adult in my
Yeah, yeah.
creative space.
Cool. And for those who got questions for Sammie, y'all can add your questions in like that question box at the bottom. We'll do like a little question and answer segment near the end.
Of course.
So we talk about 20 years later, you're still in the industry. What has it been that like has kept you humble during all this time, man? I mean, because you've always been very like transparent, down
Yeah.
to earth, and just, you know what I mean, just authentically you.
I was just born that way.
Yeah.
When you talk about humility, I think it's just a thing that you embody or you don't have.
Right.
Money doesn't change you; it only intensifies who you are. So if you're an
Yeah.
asshole, you're gonna be a bigger asshole. If you're a
Yeah. Yeah.
charitable person, you're gonna give more. So for me, I understood that the essence of life is again to just give off love and peace and
Yeah.
light to the world. Me being an artist, me being famous, me being able to perform city to city, state to state, country to country, that's like extra credit. You know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean? And I've also experienced some bumps and bruises. You got to understand,
Mm.
just back in 2009, while I was on one of the biggest records in the country, I had nothing. I was eating ramen noodles and sometimes skipping meals because my ex-manager took everything from me. So
Wow.
that will humble you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To have fame and to not have the fortune and to not
Mm.
have the creative freedom to do what you want to do, when you want
Yeah.
to do it, how you want to do it, it'll humble you. And for the fans to always be right there no matter what I'm going through, and
Right.
to take me back and to download this music or to listen to these songs or to support the shows and my merchandising and
Yeah.
anything else I have going on, you can't buy that. That's
Makes sense.
that's that's anoint that's
Right.
being anointed. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Uh,
easy to stay humble when I understand it's the people, it's you who makes me. I don't make me, you know?
right. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
the vessel that creates the art, but if you guys don't listen to it, if you guys don't support it, who am I? No one.
Yeah.
So it's easy to stay humble when you understand you belong to God and the people.
What did like what did business look like, Sammie, like growing up, bro? I mean, starting out off at like a young age, we all learned about the New Edition story, how these guys was literally traveling the entire country and they
Yeah.
wasn't making nothing but like pennies back at the crib, you know what I mean? And they was
Yep.
still being raised in the hood. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but like, at some point their money, maybe because they was, young, it was tainted. Has that ever happened to you during that process of growing up, or was there somebody behind you that
Uh,
handled the
my
business
first
side?
time I was protected because my
Yeah,
mother was also my manager, so she was a momager. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
She
yeah,
made
yeah,
sure
yeah.
that the books was balanced and the money was hitting the account. But when
Makes
I
sense.
came back at like 18, 19, I trusted someone who I thought was like a brother to me.
Yeah,
And one of the worst things you can do, and it's sad to say this, is to trust somebody. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And to assume that they're cut from the same cloth in the
Yeah,
same ethical code that you are. And I wasn't on my business. I never was in bad paperwork, but he was like the co-owner or co-signer on my Benz. He was the primary account holder on my American Express card.
right.
He had access to my account. So when you
Yeah,
give somebody that kind of access, uh, you also have made yourself vulnerable to getting screwed over. And that's all I did. I trusted somebody, and when I caught him, he really felt himself. He was like, you know what, I can ruin your whole life. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So you can stay and I can control you,
Yeah,
or I'm gonna take everything and you start over. And I've never been, anybody's pushover. You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? If I have to start over and eat cereal and noodles and drink tap water all day, I'll do that until my time comes back around. And I understand that again, I belong to God, man.
mm,
And everything that He took, I'm getting back tenfold. You feel me? And
right.
I actually want to thank this individual. I never say his name like that, but I do want to tell him thank you because he created such an amazing man doing me like that. And I
Right.
became
Yeah,
a
yeah,
great songwriter and a hungry artist, a CEO,
yeah.
a leader, and
Right.
I'm resilient. You can't kill me now. Anything that I go through is just a walk in the park, man. Good or
Yeah.
bad, I'm gonna make it through now. So I've had my bumps and bruises, but the story turned out beautiful. Such is
That's what's
life.
up.
Yeah.
What would you say has been like the biggest difference than like being signed to like a major label and then now being like independent?
Freedom,
Freedom.
brother.
Yeah.
I don't sign my life away. I own all my masters.
Word.
When I want to drop, if I say June 5th, Such As Life is coming out, I'm in partnership with an amazing label, Empire
Yeah.
Out. Shout out to Gazi and Nima and everybody. It's happening on my time. And that's
Word.
just, and I'm not a control freak, but the thing that I am fixated is I don't want to deal with the consequences of another man's decision.
Makes sense.
So when you sign to a major, they might put this record out, make you dress like this, talk like
Right.
this, walk like this. But if it doesn't work, they don't give you a do-over. They don't take accountability. But the artist is left to deal with the consequences of another man's decision. I don't like that. So now, if I flop, it's Sammie's fault. If I win, it's Sammie's fault. I can sleep good at night knowing that I control my fate.
Yeah. So like coming from like the boy Sammie and now like the man Sammie and being an independent artist, what do you think your music is saying today that it wasn't saying, during your younger ages?
Well, when you're a kid, I mean, what do you know? You're innocent,
Right.
And you're blinded by a lot of things. You're naive. But I'm 33 now. I've had my bumps and bruises, and not just my career, but in my love life. I've been indulging with women since I was 17. I'm 33 now, so I take those experiences and I put them into my music, and they become the soundtrack for millions of people around this nation.
Right.
And that's the awesome part about being gifted the gift of song. Like, everyone speaks music. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, Jamaican, women, men, straight, gay. It doesn't matter your sexual preference, your religion. You speak some type of music. And God gave me a gift to speak for the people. So I create music for myself as a sense of therapy. But I also know it's a sense of healing and therapy for those who listen to my catalog.
Word. Dope. That's dope. Man, I want to get a couple questions in real quick.
For sure.
Someone is saying, what's her name? Mario on Fandom. Top 3 things you're looking for in a partner.
Yeah, she has to be spiritually sound. I'm not a religious guy, but I love me some God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. She has to have her own because I have my own, and I'm looking for a partnership, not boyfriend and girlfriend, and not some little crush shit. I'm looking for somebody I can build an empire with.
Does she have to be in the industry?
No, she absolutely not. I've never actually dated anyone in the industry. I've always had a regular, normal, off the scene type of woman. You know what I mean? I think my life is lit enough, so balance me out. And then I think the third thing is to be understanding. I don't work a 9 to 5. I work 24/8. You know what I'm saying? I'm Sammie all the time. I don't clock out, and I'm a dreamer. And if I don't put my dreams and aspirations into play, then I won't be able to provide and protect and lead the right way. So I need her to be my biggest cheerleader and be understanding of that.
Word. I have another question coming in, man. From the Gadded Project. What's your favorite scripture and why?
2 Corinthians 4:9, persecuted but not forsaken, cast down but not destroyed. I have the tattoo on my inner arm, actually. I think it's dope that you could be cast down. You're going to go through hell. Like, nowhere in the Bible does it say it's easy, but you won't be destroyed by it. You know what I'm saying? You can be persecuted, but you're never forsaken. God will never abandon me. And I think that's beautiful because I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I sin just like the next man or the next woman. And God still loves me unconditionally and in spite of. So I think that's a very profound scripture that always resonated with my soul.
Sammie, bro, like, why are you so authentic with your fans? Like, what is it about you that just, like that makes you want to be so, I guess, just authentically you? I mean, like last night I was on your Instagram live and you was writing and you was, like going through the process of making your 6th album because the 5th one's already done. But it's like, not too many cats out here doing that, man.
Yeah, well, one, I've never been the typical. I've never been with the crowd. I don't like to fit in. I stand out. And then it's just me. Like, I don't want to die with secrets. This life that we live here on earth, bro, is short. God forbid I could lose my life today. And I want to give all of myself to the world, So why not let them see that? Again, too, like I don't want people just to see the results. I want you to see the process. I sit at my desk right here. I sip. I smoke some hookah. I eat some food. My little brother be in another room, and I write music. And then I go to the studio for a few hours, and I lay it down. I want to invite them into that experience. Because typically, we try to keep this mystique. And back in the day, 20 years ago, mystique was how you became a celebrity. You only saw us if you came to a show or a radio interview or an in-store.
Yeah.
These days, they want to see. They want to know if you're walking your dog or if you're having a shitty day or if you're at the bar turning up with your
Yeah.
crew. So let them in. You know what I'm saying? I don't have anything to hide because I'm so complete as a person. Even my flaws, even my
Right.
imperfections, why not let them see that? You
Yeah.
know? What am I trying to hide from them? And a lot of artists, I think what it is they don't live in their truths, right? They
Yeah.
sell an image. They sell sexy, but they're really not that offline. So social media has hurt certain people because you thought they was like this super cool, laid back, and maybe they don't have any
Yeah.
swag or any personality. Me, whether you love me or hate me, I'm always me, and I want to give that
Right.
to the people for them to make the decision. So it's very honest and easy for me to put
Yeah.
myself out there, you know.
Right. And for those who don't know, I actually met Sammie a couple of years ago, New York Fashion Week. I was working with Sheen Magazine as a
Yep.
producer behind the scenes. And one of the things I noticed about you, bro, was when we interacted, every black man that was in that room, you referred to him as a king, you
Yes,
know? And I
sir.
think, you know, that resonated with me. And I took that back home with me. And I guess I want to ask you, why do you think it's so important to refer to, you know, us black males as kings?
Because we're divine. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? We really are royalty. I
Right.
really view myself as a king. I view you as a king. And I believe in speaking life into other people's lives. Like, I
Right.
didn't know during that exchange you caught that.
Yeah.
But years later, here you are telling me that meant something to you. And
I
maybe
mean,
you
because
can.
bro, like during that time, it's like you have to think about it. Black men are in like in this state, you know what I mean? And we've been in this state for so long, and I can't really put my hand on what state we're in, but you know, for one, we're always being targeted, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not honored. We're not
Yeah.
respected. So we're hunted. We're killed every day.
And
Literally
not only should
hunted.
we be kings, but I believe that we should be leaders too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I can you made my day saying that. If I can,
Word.
in exchange of 30 minutes or an hour, however long you was in my presence,
Yeah.
enlighten you, you can now pay it forward and take it back to your crib. And it's
Word.
just a ripple effect. I can't change the world, but I can change one day at a time, one person at a time, or maybe a room full to influence change. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So if I give you some of this positive energy and light, you're gonna take it's inevitable. You're gonna
Right.
get some of it, and you're gonna want to give some out too. So little seeds of showing that it's probably why I'm so blessed. I really love every man. I really love every one man. I think that we are all beautiful,
Right.
beautiful and wonderfully made. And it's just my spirit, man. That's what I want people to talk about when I leave this earth. Not so much my musical accolades, actually. I care more so about the character
Uh-huh.
and what I stood for more than anything.
Who had taught you like your morals and your values? Like, where exactly did those come from? Was it back home, like your roots?
Yeah, my parents, my
Uh-huh.
mother, Angela, Denise Baxter, and my father, Sammie
Yeah.
Lee Bush Sr. Um, and then I'm the oldest of three, you know, so I have siblings that by default look up to me. So I have to
Right.
model myself, even in my imperfections, even in my mishaps, even in my errors, to where they can still say that's honorable. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the importance of legacy. I want
Right.
my little brother to be way better than me, a much better man than me. I want my
Yeah.
sister to be a much better woman than and a human being than I am. So I try to lead by example. You know, when I have kids, I'm going to instill morals and ethics to them young, like soon as they come out. You
Right.
know, they're going to watch their father. They're going to watch me. So I need to make sure I move the way that is honorable and something that they could be proud of. That means a
Uh-huh.
lot to me about how my family views me.
All right. And speaking about kids, there's a question. What is your limit on kids as far as self and a woman with kids? Like, so would you date a woman with kids already?
You know what? If you would have asked me that 6 months ago, I would say I wouldn't date a woman with kids because I did that before. And when we went through a breakup, it was very hard to detach myself from her and the
Uh-huh.
child.
But what changed
But
that?
what'd you say?
I said, but what changed that though?
Uh, I think I'm 33 and I want a family. So
Right.
if she comes with a family, I'm more than happy to take the package deal and still add
Okay.
on to it. You know, I want children soon. I have baby fever terribly right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to, you know, that's my happy ending is my own tribe, my wife.
Right.
And if she comes with kids and is willing to have more, I can take that on.
Yeah.
Again, I've always been a responsible adult. I've always taken in my siblings and my homies when they didn't have a place to stay. I'm naturally like daddy
Yeah.
mode, you know? So
Right.
yeah, she can have some kids. I think it's not even the kids now. It's like I would want her relationship with her baby's father to be healthy though. I don't do
Word.
drama. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Well, I
very
mean, because yeah, I
peaceful.
mean, because with a woman with kids, sometimes it does bring like that baby mama drama. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean
see,
that
I
baby
don't
daddy
want.
drama.
Yeah, I
My
don't
bad.
want that. I don't want
Yeah.
that. So she would have to have that situation, as peaceful as possible,
Word.
and we can rock. We good.
Word. I got you. Cool, man. Let's talk about this new music. So you got Friend Zone that's out right now.
Yeah.
I was playing Friend Zone actually right before you hopped on here, man. I like that song. I think it's really dope. And your music, it tells a story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what R&B used to be about. It used to be
Word.
storytelling. It used to be about monogamy or love, or even if you committed infidelity, being
Yeah.
remorseful about it. It's not. It's become too hip hop influenced.
Word.
A lot of auto tune, a lot of degrading women, a lot of treating women like they not, the queens that they are. So, Friend Zone is just something that I felt was a good kickoff because everyone, in some shape, form, or fashion, has either been friend zone or they friend
Word.
zone somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
This situation, I'm best friends with a beautiful, beautiful woman inside and out. And a lot of people on the outside looking in think like we should be together. But
Yeah.
I think we fear the notion of taking it romantically and it may
Yeah.
not work. And then you never
Right.
get that friendship and that bond that you had
And the
prior
whole
to.
friendship is tainted. You
It's
know, you
gone.
can't go
It's
back to
gone.
that same state no more.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But I've always been there for her through any relationship, breakup, happy times, and vice versa. I don't play about her. She don't play about me. So I just thought that it would be a record that everyone could relate to.
Does she
Um,
know that song is about her?
yeah, I let her hear it before I dropped it. Actually,
So like, whenever she heard it, how she feel about it?
she loves it.
Word.
Yeah, she loves it. It's interesting because you still don't know what the future holds.
Right.
She could be the one, and maybe I'm the one. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just we're at peace with just remaining besties, though. And we'll let nature take its course, and in due time we'll see. But when if you're my best friend or my girlfriend, you become my
Yeah.
muse by default. I
Right.
write from experience. So like,
Word.
if you're close to me, you're gonna become a song at some point.
I got you. Now, like people on the outside, Sammie, bro, like I think they would look at your relationship and be like, "Yo, ain't no way they are just best friends." Because so many people believe that a man and a woman can't be best friends.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? You know what I mean? Or like,
Man,
how has that been possible for you? You know what I mean?
it's so I don't know actually because again she's not just beautiful from the inside,
Yeah.
she's a gorgeous woman. Like there's an attraction. We've been drunk and shit faced together. I've
Word.
never crossed any lines. She's never crossed any lines. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's just a mutual love and respect where we just don't cross that. You know what I
It takes
mean?
a level of maturity too.
Yeah, and some
Yeah.
discipline too.
Word. Word.
And creating safeguards. Like I I could sleep next to her in bed and not try her, but I don't
Yeah.
even. We've never even done that. I don't put myself, and she doesn't
Right.
put herself in that predicament.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Who are some of the vocalists, man, that you would like to work with in the future?
Man, it's a plethora, man. Brandy,
Yeah,
Kaylani,
she the guy.
Luke
Brandon.
James is my favorite male singer. That dude is a fucking cheat code. You know what I'm saying? He sounds perfect all the time.
Yeah.
Usher Raymond. If I ever did it,
Wow.
that was my biggest musical influence. I love like the Stevies and Marvin Gaye's, and I know he has like personal demons, but R. Kelly creatively, if you can
Right.
separate the two, you know what I'm saying? Let me specify
I
that
mean,
if he can.
and then
He's
honestly, bro, like with R. Kelly, I understand that whole situation, man. But it's like music like R. Kelly and from like R. Kelly and Usher or just all those artists back in the day. It makes you remember where you was during that time, wherever you
yeah,
heard that record. You know what I mean? Whether
yeah.
it was the backyard cookout when you was doing "Step in the Name of Love," or it
Yeah,
was
man.
"Let
It's
It
you
Burn" when you was
like
at
I
the
think
house.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
I think a lot of people don't want to be real about
Yeah,
it, but at the end of the rainbow, he was so influential for 30 years, you know what I'm saying, of creating soundtracks to our lives and our parents' lives and our grandparents' lives
right.
even to some degree. It's hard to like disconnect musically. I don't support
Yeah,
anything if he's guilty of that, you know what I'm saying, in his personal life. But when it comes down to R&B music or just music in general, he was the king of R&B. Like the
yeah,
world called him that. He didn't have to get on social media and say it. The world labeled him,
right.
the R in R&B. So, prayers for his demons and the unfortunate things
Right.
that he may have committed. But I respect all artists, man. That's great and that's
Yeah,
innovative and that's unapologetically themselves and created a platform and blueprint, for
right.
their pathway.
And speaking about the king of R&B, who would you say is the king of R&B right now? Like during this quarantine, I mean, because so many people like whenever we talk about the king of R&B, it's like you got to separate the eras. You know what I mean? Because there was so much going on, and music is forever changing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's a king. You know, I mean, we had R. Kelly at one point.
Yeah.
I would say maybe Usher then, right?
Right.
But even now, Father Time is inevitable. So the new generation don't know much about Usher like we do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think in my generation is wide open. Chris Brown is like, to me, the ultimate entertainer. He's not.
I would say that too.
He
Yeah.
raps. He does pop. He dances. So
Right.
he doesn't just do R&B soul music.
Right.
So when you talk about R&B and the king, there is no king. If anything, the throne is wide open.
Yeah.
You know, it's just sitting there, and then the people, I think, should at some point, or will at some point, appoint somebody in that position. But it's wide open right now.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So the 5th album's on the way right now.
Such is Life.
Okay.
June 5th. June 5th.
June 5th, and then you got Picky featuring Rotimi that's out right now as well.
Yeah.
And we actually been playing that, bro. So we started off overnights, and then I think we're gonna kick it in during middays as well.
Thank you, my brother.
Word,
I appreciate
man.
the support. Thank you. It's a vibe. It's a
So
vibe.
talk about Picky, man, and how this collab come with Rotimi.
Yeah, I've known Ro for some years now. We
Yeah.
used to just like have game night, and I'll see him out, and it was always on some like mutual brotherly love from afar.
Word.
But in January, myself, Rotimi, and about 12 other kings, we started fasting for 21 days. Like no
Right.
sex, no liquor, no hookah, no partying, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
And we decided, instead of just being remote and texting in a group chat, let's all meet and play basketball and form our own relationships.
Right.
And that's how me and Ro really, really got like this. And when I did the record Picky, Ro had been on the Afrobeat wave for quite some time, and I felt he would be the perfect fit for that record. And we're label mates. We've had conversations about potentially touring together once we're allowed to go back outside, you know what I'm saying, and perform for the world. So it was just a phone call away. I called him, and he loved the record and hopped on it, sent it back.
Yeah.
Even had some like creative input. Initially, he wasn't on the second verse. He was on the third. He was like, yo, your second verse should be the last, and let's flip it, and it'll be perfect. And he was right, you know? So that's how that collab came about. And I appreciate him for blessing me. I didn't have to talk to no management or no label and get no clearance. Like,
yeah, I feel
he gave me his blessing.
Cool. And then his 5th album, June the 5th. So you wrote some of it during the quarantine?
No, so all of this, Such Is Life, was written right before I left for the Millennium Tour.
Okay.
I knew I was leaving.
The
6th album is all, there you go, Sunsets.
Cool.
That one's called Sunsets. That's all through the quarantine. I've written about 14 songs since I've been locked in the house for 2 months. I've recorded about 9 of them. And I think what makes this album, the 6th album, so special, and I want to put it out in December, 6 months apart. So June, you get Such Is Life.
Right.
December, to close out the year, you get Sunsets. I think this is beautiful because I let my fans inside of the creative process. Like last night, I was just turning up and I played all 9 songs top to bottom that I've recorded so far for it. You know, so they watched me write it, you know, live. They listened to it 3 or 4 times when I recorded in the studio.
Yeah.
One fan of mine, she gave me just one word, but the word was a better word choice than I had.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I'm gonna tell you, you know, some game. Like I'm gonna give you some publishing, and it'll say written by Sammie Liebers Jr. / her name. And she was like, oh my God, like they didn't know that if you did add a word or two, technically speaking, there is some pub. It's not life changing, but you know. But I'm that kind of guy where, you know, I'm humble. If it makes for the better lyric and the better of the song, let's go with it. So it's cool to to engage with them like that. And I feel like when the album does come out, they'll have this personal attachment towards it because they helped create it.
Cool. Sammie, before you go, man, if you could just think of anything, bro, like what is it that you want people to know most importantly about Sammie, the man, not Sammie the artist, but Sammie the man, you know, and who you really are outside the music, you know?
That I just love me some God, and I don't care about fame. I don't care about the glory. I just hope that when it's all said and done, everyone understood that my heart and my spirit has always been pure. It's all about just giving off again, peace, light, and love. If that is what people say when I leave this earth, you know, I won't be here to see it, but I know everyone goes on the Instagram and they leave these little tokens of appreciation. That's it. Like that he really, really loved God and exuded godliness in his time here. You know, anything outside of that, that's extra and that's bonus. Thank you. But I'm all about the people. I'm all about spreading positive energy and light. So that would be if they said that, I did my job.
Right. But man, bro, I appreciate your courage, your strength, man, and you know, just all you do inside the music industry, but not only in the music industry, but what you do to encourage and inspire other Black brothers all over, man. Because like I
Man,
said,
love.
we had never met a day in our life. I met you, man, and when I tell you that resonated with me, and even the kids that I mentored back here in Greenville, you know, I refer to them as young kings. You know what I mean? At
That's
first,
crazy.
they didn't
Thank
know
you.
that they could be young kings, bro. But I
Yeah.
tell them, like, it doesn't matter where you from. It doesn't matter where your mama came from or what you don't have. You can be whatever you want to be. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Put
sir.
your mind to it. Word.
And keep feeding that and instilling that into these young men of the nation, man. Because
Yeah.
we're the ones, we're responsible for that. You know what I'm saying? Whether we
Yeah.
want to be role models or not, and we don't have to be perfect to be a role model. We are.
Right.
So it's our duty to pay it forward and to pay it back and to give it to the young generation, because they'll take you saying that and
Yeah.
imagine little 8-year-old kids calling themselves kings at the
Word.
playground. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Instead of
Man.
names that's demeaning and derogatory. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. And I think one person at a time can
Word.
cause a life changing and a world changing shift. And that's what I'm here to do. So I'm
Yeah,
happy you
man.
said that, bro. That made my day. That's love.
Always, bro. Man, we look forward to seeing you back on the road. I mean, we know you only did like 6 days of the tour, and
Yeah.
then the shit was canceled due to coronavirus. Hopefully, all this mess is gone, bro. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's the quarantine is cool. You know what I mean? I've been wanting like a couple of days off of work or whatnot, but with everything being closed and being at the house all day, every day, this shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I ain't
time.
gonna
Yeah,
lie
it's
to you.
time. It's time to get outside and have some fun again. And
Yeah,
I think we're gonna appreciate the freedom and the luxuries of just having free will again too.
word. Yeah,
So
I feel you.
there's a lesson in it all, and God is the equalizer. But I can't wait till the world open back up too. Meanwhile, let's be productive and be light while we stuck inside too.
Word, but brother, man, I appreciate you, and hope you have a great day, bro.
My God, appreciate
Yeah,
you.
always.
Blessings.